you'll really be able to have a glimpse into Michael Jackson's last great creative process. And I think that, for those of us who were his fans for many years, hopefully this will, permit some type of closure, not to forget, but to definitely be able to persevere and move on and celebrate. I think everybody in the world has been so sad for so long, about his passing. If not but for a little while, let's dance in the streets and let's celebrate his legacy. When the fans go see This Is It, they're gonna have Michael back. They're gonna have Michael back just for a little while, and I think that that's what was so wonderful to all of us. That when you watch the film, it's like he's there. We've been able to have him again, and I think that people will probably enjoy that. I think that they're going to enjoy the fact that we're celebrating his legacy. Because there's been a lot of controversy. There always was, but even more so now. And I think that people are ready to celebrate. People are ready to celebrate his music, his ideas, and celebrate his genius and artistry. And that's what they're going to see. You hear about global warming. He was talking about that years ago with regards to, Earth Song and Heal the World. There was just now a different sort of connotation to it, and people are starting to see the actual effects when you see the, Antarctica, or you see the rainforest, and you see it firsthand, and you see what's actually going on now because of so much technology being available to us. But he, quite like a prophet, had been talking about those messages. And I think that people didn't really listen, because they just think, oh, well, it's a song. Well, it's in your conscience. And now when everyone hears those songs and sees those images again, it'll have a totally different meaning to them. And I think that This Is It. That was just one reason why the show was going to happen, to get everybody to sort of have a new awareness of what we need to do as a people. There were so many moments in This Is It that, I'll remember for my entire life. I mean, the fact that, I was in a small group of people that witnessed Michael Jackson perform some of his greatest hits for the very last time has got to be the most memorable thing that I can think of at this point. To watch Billie Jean for the last time, to see and hear Earth Song for the last time, and to not know that that was the reality, but to later find out it was, I think is something I'll cherish, because there's not many people who can say that, and we were there, and he looked great, and he felt great, and he told everybody he loved them, and he left, and and that would be the last time we saw him alive. So I have to think about those last nights. I have to think about those last moments. Those are the ones I'll cherish. Of course, there were lots of wonderful, fun, inspired, and memorable moments throughout the years. But I think those will be the most cherished. My entire experience with Michael Jackson has been a blessing. I told him all the time that he's helping me live my dream. And he knew that, and we talked about it. I told him about, those nights sitting in front of the TV and watching, the Beat It video or the Smooth Criminal short film, and, really dreaming about it, and, eating cereal in the morning before going to school, watching the same material and doing it again as soon as I got home from school. So we had that understanding, and I, was always grateful for the opportunity to share space and time with him, because it meant so much, and he knew how much it meant. And I think that, we were able to appreciate each other so much more, because there was a loyalty there, which I am just immensely grateful for always.
When he was on stage, it was magic. And when he was off stage with the company, meaning the people who cast, crew, dancers, singers, musicians in the film, he was so considerate, so open, so great to work with. And besides kindness, the one thing I remember that really says it all is Michael used to, when he was criticizing someone or giving someone direction or instruction or getting a little frustrated, he would always end the critique or the sentence with, now remember, it's with Love, love, that I'm saying this. And yeah, that's what I remember the most.